We're now going to look at creating 3D from terrain. Now this is something you already know how to do if you've followed all the previous videos I've made, because it's really just a combination of moving verts, sharpening edges, extruding faces, and then mapping on textures. The problem comes after you've created the 3D object with the ugly shadows that appear. This is usually the problem that most designers have, getting rid of these shadows. So I'm going to create a simple building shape to demonstrate the problem, and then in part 2 I'll show how to get rid of these shadows and make completely shadow-free 3D objects. So to start with, I'm just going to go to face, and we'll just select a small area. And I'll face it with a pale colour texture because this will show up the shadow problem later. So I'll just turn that to sand. And I'll select the verts at the end here. And hold shift on the other one. And I'll just use scale to move them both at the same time and scale them in. Get them about level. Probably gone a bit too far there, so I'll just come out a bit. That's probably about it. And now we'll just extrude this up. So I'll go extrude and pull this up to create some walls for our building. And I'm now going to face these end sections because this is going to be the gable ends, and I'm going to turn these to none, the same as the texture below, and then I can group select the whole lot in one go, and I'll just turn that to another texture that's pale, concrete. So we've got the basic shape of a building now. Just need to raise the middle edge to create the roof, and these two verts for the gable ends need to be moved out, so I'll do the verts first. So just select these two verts, and again using scale I'll just move them both together out to create the gable. And now I need to pull up the middle edge to create the roof. We've now got a simple building shape. Now all I need to do is sharpen all the edges. So if I go to edge, select, if I point at an edge it's going to select it, but if I hover the mouse somewhere in between an edge, I can drag the box and select multiple edges. So I'm just going to box select all of those, and then I'm going to hold Control down and do the same thing to unselect the ones that I don't want that are outside the building, because I don't want to sharpen those. And now if I just click sharpen, our building's appeared, complete with shadows. These are the problem ugly shadows that are caused wherever a sharpened edge meets another edge at a fairly acute angle. It creates these shadows, so 90-degree angles, it doesn't like them, and it creates these shadows. Some lesser angles aren't affected, but anything over a certain amount, it will create shadows everywhere, and they look different according to how zoomed in and out you are. They'll appear and disappear and get worse, but you'll see them in the actual game and it won't make your 3D look any good. So that's the main problem we need to get rid of, and I will show how to get rid of those in part 2. But before we leave part 1, I'll just prepare the object ready for the process. So if we deselect, because every edge that's sharpened pulling on another edge causes these shadows, what we want to do is separate the sections of our 3D building and separate them into their own isolated entities. We don't want any edges pulling on any other edges. So basically we're going to turn it into like a big flat pack. So this section will be one piece, this roof will be another piece, this gable end will be another piece, etc., etc. But because if we separate these pieces, the edges will just collapse because they won't have other edges attached to them to hold them into place, we need to create supports so that they don't collapse in on themselves. Much like a kite needs the support beams to hold it into shape, we need to do the same with our 3D. So every corner of our building, such as this one, will need an edge such as this, which is going to support it going to the corner to hold it into position. So I need to create some more edges by splitting and turning edges to make sure that every face has an edge. Well, this one's already got the edge going to this corner. This corner here doesn't have such an edge, so I'm going to split this edge here. If I go to edge split, that's now created this edge, which is now going to support that corner, and I'll do the same to this side. So we've got that created, and I'll quickly flip round the other side, and I'll split these two the same. And now let's take a look at the gable ends. Well, most of the points, there's 5 points on this gable end, 1, 2, 3, 4, and one up here, 5. Most of them have already got supports. That's supported, that's supporting the left side, that's supporting the centre middle, that's supporting the top right. It's just the bottom right that's not supported. But because this horizontal line is supporting this edge, I could actually rotate this line because it's not needed for support. If I rotate it round, it could support the bottom, so I'll just flip it round by turning it, and it's not going to let me. Because I'm on rotate and not on turn. I always get muddled with those two arrows, so we'll go to turn and then it will let me. Thank you. When will I ever learn? Right, so that's that gable end. Okay, and I'll probably have to do the same on the other. It should be in the same sort of format the way I created it. So yeah, this needs to be turned down, and now we've got support for each point around there. Now I just need to check the roof out, and we've got these V supports here that are supporting the top corners, but I've got nothing supporting the bottom corner. So again, I need to split one of these lines, quite why it isn't selecting it. Let's have a look around a bit. There we go. So I've split that one. Now I've now got 2 edges going to the other top corner, so I should be able to turn one of those. If I turn this edge here, it should flip round. Yeah, that's going to create a support for that corner, and I need to do the same on the other one. It's probably easier to see it on the top view. So I'll split that, which has given us this corner support, and I just need to support this corner down here by turning this line there. So again, go to turn, and that's created struts that's going to support every corner of every section on our building.